Welcome back everyone. I know how much you guys love these specific videos that I make about my jailbroken setup on these older iPhones. And the next iPhone in the line pretty much that I wanted to do was the iPhone 6s Plus. Now what's really cool about this specific iPhone is that it's still being supported with iOS, unlike some of the older ones that I talked about like the 5s and the 6. However, those ones are still being supported with iOS 12 kind of, but the iPhone 6s Plus is still being supported with iOS 13. But not only that, it's potentially going to be getting iOS 14 as well. And what's really cool about the iPhone 6s Plus is that you can pretty much jailbreak it on any specific iOS version that you're on. So whether you're on iOS 13 or iOS 12, or if in the future, if it does get iOS 14, you can jailbreak it on that version as well, which is really awesome. So whether you are watching this video now or a year down the line, hopefully this tutorial or this video is not even a tutorial, but hopefully this video is still pretty much current for that time. So if you don't own a 6s Plus, if you want to, I'll find the cheapest one on Amazon and I'll link it down in the description below so you guys can get it from there and help support the channel at the same time. I think I've seen a lot of them go for about $150 give or take, so whichever one I find I'll link it down below. So what I will tell you though, one of my favorite reasons to jailbreak recently that I've kind of found out, especially when I started developing my second channel up a little bit. I've always had a second channel for like years, but more recently I started doing a lot more tweaked videos and jailbreak videos and stuff like that. And one of my favorite reasons to go and jailbreak now, and I don't know if my voice is cracked or not, but is the installation of emulators. So Game Boy Advance emulators, PlayStation P emulators, things like that. Those are my favorite reasons to jailbreak. And you might be saying to yourself, bro, you can install these emulators without being jailbroken. And I'm 100% there right with you. But there's a huge caveat to that. Most of the time, those methods always get revoked, which really does suck, and I hate that. You might be so deep into a game, but then you actually have to go and restart it or whatever just because the game actually just crashed and you're revoked and you can't even go back into it. So that's something that I really don't like. But with a jailbreak, you can actually not only defer that until a way later point, but you can actually have this never happen ever again. Now with a jailbreak, these ones are tethered, so sometimes you will have to go, or they're semi-untethered, I don't remember what they're called. You will basically have to jailbreak your device every single time you reboot into it. But once you're jailbroken, you can just open those apps up again and you're pretty much set, so it's not really that big of a deal. They won't go get untrusted on you and they won't get revoked, which is really awesome. So that's my main reason, actually not my main reason, but a really cool reason why I would recommend people to go and jailbreak their phone now. But another thing is, in case you do want to install those specific apps that will eventually get revoked, things like, Instagram++, Snapchat++, if you install them through App Valley or Tweakbox, not Tweakbox anymore, but AppCake, if you install them through that way, there's another app called Reprovision that I think I just dropped a tutorial on yesterday that actually prevents those things from happening too. So those two kind of go hand in hand. The Reprovision is kind of like a side thing for an IPA, but the main thing is the emulators here. So those two things are my favorite ones. And the next one is Clean Home Screen, which pretty much if you see in my main screen, you can see that it has very little text on it. The status bar is there, but other than that, there's no names of apps or anything. And Clean Home Screen pretty much takes all those things away, but you can also enable those things within the settings too. So it's not like you have no, a ways to fix it. You can go and design your phone however you want to, which is really awesome. And within the settings app, you can go and, maneuver and change this however you want to. You can keep the dock background, change it, keep the status bar, change it, the lock screen is changed too. So definitely at the end of the day, Clean Home Screen is one of my favorite ones for sure. Now with the iPhone 6s Plus, as I've said before, it's not a slow phone right now, but it definitely is slower than a lot of the newer phones that came out. So a tweak that I love using on these older phones that's called no slow animations, it actually goes ahead and speeds up those phones a little bit. So what it does is that every time you open an app or you close an app, pretty much there's a little bit of a delay from you clicking the app and it actually opening up. And what's really cool about this tweak is that it pretty much takes away that little bit of delay when you click the app and it actually opens. So you have the ability here to actually go and enable this tweak and have it to just fully working. And what's really cool about it is that it makes the phone feel that much smoother, which is really awesome. So it's not like it's going to go and rebrand your phone. It's not going to make it feel 50 billion times better, but it is just a little bit of an extra tweak that you can add that'll make your phone feel a little bit smoother at the end of the day. So for sure, no slow animations is one of my favorite ones. I will add though that it's not necessarily going to make your phone faster. So if you load an app, it's not going to make that specific app load any faster. It's just a time that when you click it and it comes on the screen, that's what technically gets faster, if that makes any sense. So that one is no slow animations. Now the next one is one that I always hit on as well, and this one is Safari Plus. And what I love about this one is that it's pretty much, it's Safari on steroids. It brings so much capability into your specific Safari browser. You can enable so many different settings, and I'll show you on the screen now. And one of my favorite things about this is that there is an inbuilt download manager, which is really cool. Before, on versions like iOS 12 and iOS 11, we had the Files app, but we didn't necessarily have a files manager within Safari, so we couldn't really, download things and have, we couldn't put it certain places. We just kind of had to, leave it on our iCloud drive or delete it once it's done. So within Safari Plus, you have a ton of different settings that you can mess with, which is really, really cool at the end of the day. So, and this tweak, I don't even think is that big in size, which is really cool. So for sure, at the end of the day, Safari Plus is another one that I would recommend to a lot of people. Now, another UI tweak that I've hit on kind of a lot, I think every video I've ever made so far on a jailbreak tweak, I've mentioned this. Now this one is called Modern Dock. Now what this one does is that it pretty much goes ahead in that dock that you have on standard iOS phones that are older, phones like the 6S Plus, the 8 Plus, phones like that. They all have this kind of rectangular dock on the bottom, so it's just kind of like the old standard thing that I'm sure a lot of you guys know about. However, phones like the iPhone XR, the 11, all those phones, they all have a dock that's kind of circular and kind of looks like an oval in a way. And that one is the more modern dock, and it's funny because this tweak is called Modern Dock, so that one just kind of brings you that circular dock into these older iPhones, so it makes it look a little bit better at the end of the day. So again, just a visual tweak. It's not going to add any features, but it's definitely one of my favorite things for sure. Now another tweak that's kind of like a speed tweak that I've hit on before is Accelerated Home Button. And what this one does is that it, at the end of the day, like I said before, it just adds a little bit more speed when you go ahead and click that home button. So like I said, with the no slow animations, with Accelerated Home Button, there is a little bit of a delay when you click the home button and when you get off of it. And with Accelerated Home Button, it actually speeds up the animation, so you're not just sitting there and just clicking the home button and waiting for it again. Once you click it, it's almost instantaneous. Now on a phone like this, it's still kind of older, it's not like a brand new phone, so there still is kind of a delay, but it's still less than the first time you were to click it. So for sure, Accelerated Home Button is another one I would recommend to a ton of people. Now again, one of my favorite tweaks that I always love mentioning, and it's just one of my favorite things at the end of the day, this one is ForcedInPicture, and this is a tweak that I hope Apple actually implements on iOS 14. It's one of my favorite features at the end of the day, and one of the main reasons why I would jailbreak, right up there with the emulators and no slow animations, all that. And what this one does is basically, if you play a YouTube video, you're able to pop that video out in picture-in-picture and be able to watch that video while you're going and doing other things with your device. So you can go on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and you can actually go and just keep watching that video and listening to it while you're doing other tasks. So you're not just stuck there doing one thing. You can actually go and watch that video while you're doing something else, which is really cool. And like I said, that's something that I hope Apple actually brings into the next version of iOS. So with iOS 14, I'm praying that Apple actually brings this in, because that's going to be one of my favorite things for sure. Now another tweak that I've hit on quite a bit is CC modules, and this is another UI tweak and visual tweak, but it actually adds a little bit of capability too. And what this does is that it allows you to add a ton of different extra third-party toggles in the control center. So if you want access to the App Store, Snapchat, or whatever, instead of having to click the home button and find that app, you can actually just go scroll down in the control center, click on Snapchat or App Store or whatever, and go from there. So it takes up even less time, and you can go and customize it however you want to, and there's a ton of different toggles within it, which is really, really awesome. Now the last one I'm going to hit on, and it's always the last one, and it's one of my favorite ones too, it's Gestures 10s, and like I've stated before, all this does is it brings those iPhone XS and iPhone 11 Pro gestures onto an older phone like this. So you can swipe up, you can swipe away, you can multitask, not multitask, but you can swipe between apps just so easily. And it's one of my favorite things for sure. And when you have an older iPhone like this, anything you can do that can kind of, reminisce on a newer iPhone can really make you prolong the life of this phone. So if this thing actually gets the next version of iOS, it would be really cool, but also being able to bring in these newer phone features into an older phone can also prolong the life of that phone too. And with Gestures 10s, that's one of my favorite things for sure. It makes you feel like you still have a pretty fast phone and a pretty capable phone. What's really cool about it is that it really just is so smooth. It doesn't feel like it's slow, and for the most part it handles everything. Whenever I do anything, when I swipe up, when I swipe through apps, it really surprised me about how smooth it was, and it kind of reminded me of my iPhone 11 Pro, to be honest. Like, it didn't feel that much slower than that. So that one is Gestures 10s, and again, another beautiful tweak that people have made that I really do like. So those are several reasons as to why I think a jailbroken iPhone 6s Plus is still beautiful in 2020. It's a tremendous phone. It's still getting, like I said, potentially the next version of software, so that's going to be really cool. But on top of that, these jailbreak tweaks breathe so much more life into it that just makes me want to recommend it to so many people. So if you have an iPhone 6s Plus, I would definitely recommend you to jailbreak it at the end of the day. But that's honestly pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section as well. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, all those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate for you guys to check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.